All right, we're live. Today is the first official day after we did the kickoff around the Instagram Intuition Challenge. So I am so excited to have you here. Welcome, welcome to the Psychic Decision Making Day and our quick little mini series. So I'm going to be hopping on to do little info sessions and little mini workshops all week. And today is around psychic decision making. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. And we're going to be having more topics later in the week. So as you see me live, you'll see more of these topics unfold. And one of the things that we think about with psychic decision making is it makes us go back to the idea of, you know, how do I even receive this? How do I even know what's a yes and no? How do I make decisions using my intuition? And I always tell people to think first around how are you leveraging the way that your intuition is communicating with you? And I like to call those our clairs. And we have 5 clairs. There's actually more, but 5 main ones. We have clairaudience, which is where you hear things, hear voices. A lot of times it's internally. Clairvoyance, which is around seeing images, your third eye. We have clairsentience, which is around recognizing feelings internally. Our empaths are really good with recognizing feelings. And the other one is claircognizance. This is our 4th one. This is clear knowing. This is the part where you're like, I know this is going to happen, but I can't tell you why. I just know. I just know this is going to happen. Another one is clairgustance, which is around taste. This one I find we use less often, but can give you a lot of information when you are trying to receive information. I actually use sometimes clairgustance will come up when I'm doing readings, like psychic readings for other people. But it's really they're really helpful to help us figure out how our intuition communicates with us. And I'll pause because when you're thinking about how your intuition communicates with you, I want you to think for a second and try to pick up on what clair might be your one, maybe top 1 or 2 dominant ones. Are you really strong with hearing things? With seeing in your third eye, this, think about guided meditations even. Are you really good with feeling, tapping into your internal systems? Is that something that's really powerful for you? That clairsentience, recognizing and being activated in your body when your intuition is communicating with you. Do you have the knowing? Can you just all of a sudden know something is going to happen, but you can't explain why, or you know the answer to something, but you can't explain why? That could be your claircognizance. And then taste. Have you ever experienced where taste maybe changes in your mouth and it reminds you maybe of a memory or an experience from when you were younger or another time in your life? So take a moment and just think about like what might be, and feel free to in the chat to put in what might be your strongest 1 or 2 clairs. If you know, I'd love to see in the chat and you can share that with us. I think for me, mine have tended to get stronger over time. I used to, like when I was in the very beginning stages of all of this, I remember my feeling side was really difficult for me. And I remember they would be like, feel into your body. And I'd be like, I don't know what you're saying. What does that even mean? Like, I don't even know what feel into the body means. But they're so varied. The other thing I'll say too about how our intuition communicates with us is that you may receive multiple clairs all at the same time, and it doesn't have to be just one. Especially like, for example, when I'm giving psychic readings, I'm receiving information through different clairs. So sometimes I hear, sometimes I'm seeing, sometimes I'm feeling, sometimes chakras are activated in my body that help give me more information. So there is a variety of ways that you can do this when it comes to trying to figure out how your intuition communicates with you. And thank you all for joining. I see your sweet faces and screen names popping in, and I just I'm so glad you're here. So we just wrapped up talking about the clairs and how our intuition communicates with you. But today is really all about psychic decision making. So I'm going to teach you a tool so that you can make decisions really quickly. These are great for yes, no. So I love this tool. Before we get started, here's what I do want you to know about how to receive this information. So in a second, I'm going to teach you this tool about how to get yes, no answers when you want to make a decision on something. But I want you to know first, the answers come fast. So the real intuitive answer is going to come very quickly. It's most likely always going to be your first answer. And I want you to trust your first answer. Sometimes the second answer is actually the ego. So first answer, trust your first answer. And I encourage you to write down your answers as you practice this on your own so that you can test to see if what you, the answer you received was accurate later down the road when you could determine if this was true or not for you. So think about writing things down so that you can continue to go back and check your work in a way, like, when you're in school, check your work to see if your intuitive guidance is accurate. And the more you start to practice this and test it, the more you're going to be able to discern what is your intuitive guidance. Awesome. Oh, clear audience, clear sentience. Let me see. I know it's so awesome. Okay, let me see. I'm looking. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. Love the comments. And I love that you have multiple clairs that are so strong and you are so gifted. So, all right. So one of the favorite things I like to do is called a meter. And this is your tool. So this is how you're going to do this. And I always joke that my friends who are also psychic will do this. We'll send these questions to each other via text when we want to get a yes, no answer and we want to test ourselves. So this is called the meter exercise. This is basically, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine in your mind's eye an image of like a thermometer, where the mercury goes like up towards 100. You can also think of it as like speedometer in a way, going from 0 to 100. Think of like the little arrow moving. I look at mine like that. Like I look at mine as like on a flat plane and I watch an arrow go from 0 to 50, 75 to 100. The reason I like the meter is because it gives you a little bit of nuance with your yes, no. So 0 would be like absolutely not, no. 25 would be like, right. 50 sort of could go either way. If you go to 75, it's like, yeah, that's a yes, but it's not like a hell yes. And then 100 is like, absolutely. So that's why I love the meter tool. So we're going to practice this together. And I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to see your meter, however you want this to be. It should go from 1 to 100 or 0 or 1, doesn't matter. But basically you want a full range of numbers all the way to 100. Actually, I don't have a full range of numbers. Mine go like 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. So go ahead and get that in your mind's eye. And here's what we're going to do. I want you to say this phrase to yourself and then fill in the blank. It's in my highest good to, and then finish it and see what your meter does. It's in my highest good to, and see what you get. And if you want to put it in the chat, you can also do that as well. And you can practice this with a friend too. You can have them do this. I like using statements and using the language, it's in my highest good, because you're getting the highest outcome. You want to get the highest level of information. And that's why I love the phrase, it's in my highest good. All right. Nice job, everybody. I love it. I love it. I love it. Great job.